So I want that either one.
Hey Crafter, what's up? Is this your last Civ grind? I hope so. I very much hope so. But overall, I really don't plan on grinding this game again once I get a PB with these with this rule set and tech. That's the short of it. I had plans to do Hundo, I had plans to do a bunch of categories, but I take that back. I don't want to grind this game anymore. Alright, we're through. I want to play other shit. How did I grab that? Gee, that ending's so bad. None of that fight was actually good. Phase 1 was bad. Phase 2 was bad. Pseudo Phase 3 was even worse. And my movement was actually very good throughout that section. Movement leading up to Corpus was very good. It was literally just the fight that sucked ass. Hello, Sploda. How's it going?
Uploading data.
Open Jefferson RPG.
Oh, shoot. I hit the door. Maybe I got the match down today, Chad. Yeah, I got the match down today, Chad. Freaking go, dude. Can you slide under the thermal doors or no? Nope. It's only visual. It might look like the collision has lifted a little bit, but no. It's only visual. The collision just disappears all in one go when the door is fully open. Or like half open or something, but yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't open that. Losing 2 seconds with that door. Well, not really 2 seconds, but... Damn, no HP drop, that sucks. That's gonna cost me some time in calories. My timings for the inter-category segment are a bit awkward because some of my timings are done without the plant kill, and which results in a slightly shorter segment because you're already past the first room transition. Whereas if you do get the plant kill, you still have to transition back from the, like, you have one extra transition in the Emi zone, and that takes time. I don't know, like a second or so into the segment, because obviously the plant kill is faster, but then you have that trade-off in the rest of the segment. Maybe I was fine without waiting for that health thing. I haven't had the opportunity to effectively test my HP and limits in this section. a little awkward to do that free aim thing because this controller sometimes doesn't register the free aim press immediately. That's why I usually just like jump into the door and then back out. It's because the input hasn't really sunk in yet. It's really dumb. Oh. Alright, cool. First run of the day. Yesterday we got shit luck. Today we're getting a run on the first attempt. This is payback. Ah, damn it. Ran out of missiles. Okay, that's a good time. What's up to J Cosmos? Yo, stream, yippee! I started to get back into Dread recently. Let's go, dude. Hope you enjoy your stay. What's up, Chris? First try warp indeed. We got a nice little pace going right now. So this is nice. Kind of unlucky with the bug cycles, both of them. I didn't get any HP back, dude. So dumb. Really hope Artar is gonna play it a little nicer. Yeah, yesterday I didn't get any paces into Catarys and into after Emmy Warp. Already getting a first try on the first attempt even. I gotta fight my hardest here. I just want to BB. Okay, decent enough Varisuit. I really wanted it to be a bit better. That's that. Alright, only thing I messed up was that Morph hop in the tunnel. It didn't work out as I wanted. It's okay. Alright, hoping for decent RNG from Kraid. Like, please. What's up, Himani? Oh wait, we don't have streamer bot on. You know what? I'm actually not gonna turn it on. We got a good pace. Damn it. I had to concede a little bit in this section here to HP, but it's fine. Okay, that was actually kind of good. I feel like a lot of my missiles just hit the face, not ideal. My movement wasn't perfect, the fight could have been better. RNG wasn't necessarily the best, also not the worst. I didn't lack missiles, but I did miss out on some DPS. Don't know why Sam isn't morphed there, but okay, cool. 1 second lost. It's a far cry from my supposed target time. But my target time is kind of a bit demanding. That charge beam it kind of sucks, but I mean at this point I just take what I can get. Good timing on the pad. This is okay. A little awkward at the finish line, but it's okay. Huh? What the fuck happened there? Why the morph ball just got stuck on the ledge? Hello? It's pointless time loss, man. Unbelievable. Okay, good Darren section, I think. Alright. I know I've had better paces, but it's just really hard to get a better pace in this category. Yo, Sonic, good timing. Indeed. Indeed. Fuck. That sucked. I didn't split correctly, that sucked. I lost most of my time save with that. What's up, Harvey? Thank you for the good luck. What's up, Prince? Thank you so for the good luck. It's gotta be today, man. I god darn hope it's gonna be this run. I don't even ask for a sub 38 anymore. Like, just give me a fat 30-second PB, because that would be that's basically the biggest time loss I had in my PB. My PB is really a 38-12 if I don't lose bomb HQ. So if I get anything below 38-12, I think that would be a nice PB. I didn't even weave for that. So this is gonna be basically PB time -1. So that flash shift just ruined the entirety of my early game, which had been decent, and now third try. Oh my god, third try flash shift, so bullshit. What? I hate when flash shift gets buffered in the cutscenes. I don't understand that. Alright, 54 on the platform, I think. I didn't quite catch the timer, but I think we're on a good grapple pace, so that's good. Yo, welcome on in, Blue Shine Spark. Hello, been a lurker for a while, just wanted to say good luck on the runs. Thank you, I appreciate it. Welcome on in. Buffers in this game. Buffers in this game, ability's not working, everything just, yep. Good thing we don't have to deal with storm missiles and crossbombs in this category, but we still gotta deal with diffusion beam RNG. Even when you thought it couldn't hurt you, it can. $145. Alright, guys, the 1.7 on the previous segment is compared to doing flash shifts over the hot room. I didn't do that this time. I think free aim didn't register. I'm pretty sure I pressed everything, but I think free aim just didn't. Not much I can do about that. Yeah, that sucked. That sucked hard, dude. Still not a very good segment, but at least I'm not losing skew. To be fair, I'm still getting a massive time loss from screw attack, so I'm not happy about that. Spark timer is so weird sometimes. I still don't know how it works. Actually, I don't think anyone knows how it works. You know what? I'm not sure the devs know how it works. So how could we, right? Damn it. This segment did not go well. I lost time in 2 places and 3 places. Nah, actually, I had to reduce Q several times. This is definitely not what I want out of this segment. We still got like 7-8 seconds to save here. Not what I want. RBX seeing the splits and okay, I'll take it easy this time. Nah, we actually are back in the green. That was the big time save I had in this run. PB, I lost skew in orange TP. 30 seconds of time loss. So we're back, but like, I mean, I'm still losing time, so. Oh my god. Huh? I think any chance I had for a decent run is gone. Sub 38 is gone. Sub 12 is practically gone too. Wow, this endgame is complete garbo. 12 seconds lost at Screw Attack and another 10 seconds lost in Enter Hanuvia. This is so bad, dude. Oh, I can't believe I'm getting good enough RNG for this run and it just sucks. I'm so demotivated. I've actually had 3 paces that were borderline sub 38 dying at RBX. My motivation is at an all-time low for this category. Bro, what? I should not have taken the Hobbit skew. Holy shit. Very, very unlucky. That is so unlucky, dude. That's already 20 fucking seconds of time loss. Nice Hobbit skew, dude. It was a fast 5, but it's actually like 15 seconds of time loss. This is gonna be exactly the same time as PB, which was complete shit. Yeah, the mid bot spawned, so that wasn't gonna work. And I guess I pressed B too late because I did hit the mid bot. So yeah. That's that. So unlucky, dude. That's so unlucky. Just try to close the round. What do you think I'm gonna do? What do you think I'm gonna do, dude? What? $38.22, man, that sucks. Even if I PB, it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be much of a PB. Nowhere close to the big times I had before. Wow. It had to be in this shit run. Unbelievable. Huh. No power bomb, no shortcut here. What's that? That is a PB, that is a new world record, but the run sucks, man. This shit sucks, dude. What?
You will drain the ship of its energy.
My god, that sucks, man. I don't want to run this category, man. I've had 3 paces that were borderline gonna be sub 38, no joke. 2 of them actual like 37.50 pace. The other one was kind of scuffed already, but this one is the one that makes it through the end, like the shit run. Let's go to the credits. Let's see the final screen. I just want to be done. My god, dude. I'm so done with this grind. Like, the thing is, I know I can do a lot better, but you guys have any idea how much time I have to be willing to sacrifice to actually get that? I've already had 3 shots at a sub 38. Like, 3 real shots at sub 38 that died at RBX, pure RNG. It's completely out of my control. I do the same thing every time. If it doesn't work, it can't be my fault, right? Like, I know that I can do it, but it's a huge time sink that I am no longer willing to put in. Honestly, like, bro, it's been fun to grind this category, but it is very mentally exhausting to do this. Run glitchless. Yeah, man. You know what? I actually tried a bit of raking. It's kind of cool. I mean, I suck at it, but I can see the potential. Alright, folks. 48 playtime, 45, 46. That's a sub 46 clear time. I think it's good. Is it? No defeats. I didn't choke to clip, so that's a run done. GG. Alright, we got a PB. Let me read out the good warm-up now. Decimate the time. Boy, I am not touching this category again, Emily. Not for a while. I will, realistically, I'm not gonna get another run like that today. With, like, actually going from start to finish. Because ME Warp and RBX are probably not gonna give it to me. In all likelihood, yesterday I played 2 hours. I didn't even get past Caterers. So bad, dude. And today we just get it first try. Still not quite a good run though, but I mean, yeah, there's only so much I can do about this. Ah, GG's Prince, GG's Sonic, GG's Destructor. I almost mistook you for Prince, saying GG twice because you guys have the same name. Your names start as the same color. The names start with D. I mean, maybe it's just the same color for me. Sometimes it might be random and stuff, but like, thank you for the GG's Destructor. In short, GG Chris, GG's Avermedia. I was here. GG's Retro, GG's Ross. Maybe someday you can come back and prove your legend. Maybe. You are a pioneer. You deserve a break. Thanks, man. Man, I wish I could just take a break with a proper fat time, you know, like a fat sub 38, and be like, okay, I'm not touching this game in a long time because the run's already pretty darn good, but I can't say that. The end game for this run was actually atrocious. Like, nothing about the end game was good. Screw Attack, Orange TP, Enter Hanubia, Power Bombs. RBX was not... Even RBX lost a few seconds to, I think, redoing the Shine Sync. And maybe suboptimal mash. I could probably not do... Like, I could probably do a little bit less mashing for a time save, but whatever. I just want to make sure that I'm mashing at a good rhythm for that final frame. So don't mind if I mash a little bit more than I need to. And Escape was also not very good. I lost a bunch of time to bad movement in the first half. Clips weren't too fast. I messed up Skew plenty of times, so even Escape wasn't that good. So I'm not very proud of this run. Despite it being a PB, I'm really not very proud of this run. Early game was nice. Flash Shift was a disaster, cost me all my early game time. Speed Booster and Grapple were fine, but then late game, starting with Screw Attack just wasn't good. I'm really not proud of this. Like, this is a UR run, but the UR section was like the worst part of the run, unironically. I think I lost more time to unrestricted tech than the early game. Maybe not, but like, you know, whatever. Chris, I bet you'll get that sub 30 once you start playing other games. Well, it seems to work that way. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll take. I mean, I am planning on taking a break from Dread to be honest. I kind of want to play other games. I've been playing Dread for far too long. I should have taken breaks many times and I didn't, because man, people kept on finding stuff, and you know, Seam Pseudo happened, and then Emmy Warp happened, Seam Pseudo happened, Fast Clips happened. You know, early charge happened, but I think it's gonna be a long while until we see our next big trick. A long while. I genuinely have no idea what the next thing is gonna be. We had this early charge trick under the radar for a while, but after that, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I honestly don't know what awaits Dread in the future in terms of tricks found. No idea. Maybe somebody's gonna figure out a way to manipulate RNG for the Emmy. Maybe someone's gonna figure out how exactly Bomohei's Q works, and maybe we'll get an early game setup that you know, obsoletes multi-file. I don't know, dude. GG Harvey, my video is now updated. It's actually super fun to say 4-1 record. Yeah, man, 6 seconds faster than your run, isn't it? Boo. That's. This category is so annoying, man. For what it's worth, this is still amazing, bro. Mention your grind and dedication. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. If nothing else, I did put in some time and dedication to getting this PB. Guys, first day I came back to this category, I got 38.42. I think. First day or two. Like, I got this pretty fast after crafters started grinding this category. I got it pretty fast. And since then, I haven't been able to even come close to this time, to even get past RBX. This is how volatile this category really is. Either you get it first try, or you can spend weeks, months maybe, trying to get a run going. I mean, you might even get runs going. They just don't get past RBX because RNG. Again, I've had 3 sub 38 paces. They didn't work out on RBX. So I am very tired of this category. I'm gonna practice a little bit of raking just because. You know, yesterday, the hot topic on Discord yesterday got me curious about trying raking. You would think that maybe I wanted to switch over to a turbo controller. No, I decided to try out raking and maybe figure out a way to make it work for me. Who knows? I was trying some different things. See if I could make it work. Right now it is very noisy compared to my usual mash. And it's very inconsistent right now, but like neither B-Dog or Prince like got used to raking in one day. From their claims, they spent months trying to learn raking and readapt to the new control scheme. I've made just like a minimal change button maps. I've actually swapped R, not ZR, and I've put missiles on D-pad up. It's not very comfortable, but it took me longer than B-Dog, but only because he already practiced it for SM. True, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, it still takes some time because maybe he uses different controller for SM, right? I suppose he plays on I'm sure he plays on emulator. I've watched him practice a few times. But yeah, it's kind of news to me. So what I'm trying to do is a little different than what you guys were doing. So you use ZR to mash, right? I'm trying to figure out if I can put that on R instead of ZR. R is the original button for missiles. I put it on D-pad up. So it's just R? Oh, it's R. I thought you guys were doing it on ZR. Okay. Okay, well, R makes sense. I figure there are multiple different ways of doing the mash. Like you can use the 3 sets of knuckles on your hands to do the mash. You can even use your nails, raking forward and backward perpendicular to the bar. Yeah, it's not easy to get used to. So I figure you can try to mash with the 3 sets of knuckles on your, well, I'm not sure if that even makes sense spoken in English. I'm not entirely sure if that's how you say it, but like, or you can do nails. I've been trying to test everything and see what feels best to me. But nails is probably the better one, because if you're using knuckles, it's probably gonna be bad for your skin. Me especially, like my hands get fucked in the winter with the cold, and I probably don't want to like rip my hand on the controller. So nails is probably gonna be the way to go, but I want to try everything and see what feels good. And again, this is like a very minimal rebind. I've only rebound R and D-pad up. It's not very comfortable to... Well, I mean, actually, firing missiles on R actually feels pretty nice compared to Y for some reason. But the way to activate missiles is basically my right thumb is on the D-pad, my index finger is on R. So I'm basically like having this wide grip of my right hand on the controller to trigger missiles. It's weird. It's definitely weird. But most everything is the same. I can still fire with Y for double mash if I want to, which I probably won't want to because I can rake, right? But so maybe it makes sense to put missiles on Y as well. But it's tough because like I'm not gonna be able to just weave easily. Double mash could still work for like fights in theory. Yeah, for RBX, I'm probably not gonna rake for RBX. To be honest, I'm probably not gonna be using this in unrestricted anyway. But I could, right? It still saves time in the white Emmy. It still saves time in the central unit fights. Minimal time, mind you, but still. Like mashing in unrestricted is, well, you do have the red Shozo fight, and because you don't have wave beam, the fight should not lag as much. Because wave beam goes through, like you have many beams on screen with wave beam, but if you aim correctly, if you're not too far from the boss, your beams get eaten immediately. So you only ever have a few beams on screen, so the fight should never lag as much as if you had wave beam. Yeah. Rig gets absolutely swallowed up. Yeah. That's red Shozo in Hanubia and RBX. Red Shozo is still rough for Rig, so my Rig ends up nerfed like single mash speeds. Yeah. And for some reason, I for a long time thought that doing single mash speeds on the red Shozo in Hanubia, for some reason actually made the mash better. I don't know. I don't know. Just gotta send a message here real quick. Do you think Switch 2 fixes lag or just loads? I don't know. I don't know what even causes the lag. I don't know if it's the system itself that bottlenecks the game or the game is just clunky because guess what? Delta time mess ups exist and hyper missiles exist, and that's most definitely not the fault of the console, right? I think Switch 2 is probably going to create faster loads, but I'm not so sure it's going to fix lag. I'm not so sure about that. We'll have to wait and see. Because you get some lag in different places. You get various kinds of lag. You have Darn loads. Darn loads, I assume it's caused by load times. Maybe not, because it's very random. Sometimes you get extra long loads when you transition between rooms in Darn. I don't know what causes that. It is specific to Darn. It doesn't seem to happen in other areas. It might happen like once in a blue moon or something, but usually it's in Darn, right? But I don't understand what about that area does it. It's usually before the yellow Ami, I think, but I'm not sure. I haven't run a ton of Hundo. I don't remember if you get it in late game as well after the Ami's done and stuff. Maybe it's the same thing that doesn't load the save room background, so it fails to load assets. Maybe it could be sometimes. Some of you in chat might have seen this or not, but sometimes when you go into a map, like when you load the game in a map room, atom room, or save room, the background is not loaded, so all you get is a black room. I might even be able to find a screenshot like that here if I search hard enough. It'd be nice if, I'm pretty sure I have a screenshot of that, but oh, I actually do. See, this is what happens. This is the save room in Calories. This was probably a save file I had for a crate or something. This is in Calories just next to the red TP. This is what you see if the assets fail to load. It's just a black background. It doesn't load. And the door and the save station are loaded, but the rest isn't loaded. It's just a dark room. It's pretty funny. At some point, B-Dog and I joked about getting a world record with this glitch in Artaria. You know, the first atom just dark. I think it never happened, but you know, this is a, if anyone ever gets a world record with this this is like a glitch that probably doesn't affect the run, but yeah, if someone ever gets a world record with this, it's gonna be a world record full of swag, and no one should ever try to beat it. Everyone, I get that. I pray I can make it. 0 for I don't know what so far. Yeah, same. I don't think I ever had a run that got anywhere with this stupid glitch. So I call it glitch, but it's like, it's not glitch in terms of leaderboard rulings and stuff. It's just like asset didn't load. Like the collision still exists, but yeah, it just didn't load the assets for some reason, or mixed it up. You know, it's, I don't know what, maybe some multi-thread racing or something that causes it for loads. I don't know. I have no idea what causes it, but clearly it's some not very robust piece of code that's doing that. Probably. Anyway, I do think the Switch 2 is going to give faster loads, but I'm not sure it's going to fix lag. The other kind of lag is like the stuff you get from Red Shozo. The Red Shozo fight in Hanubia is unusually laggy. I know that Hanubia has many invisible actors in there. It could be just lots of things loaded that don't need to be loaded. I don't know. If that is the case, maybe the lag is going to be reduced on the Switch 2 if it's a more powerful console. better processor, stuff like that, right? And probably the same thing for the RBX fight. But yeah, hard to say. Maybe it's gonna fix some of the lag, but it's probably not gonna fix all the issues anyway. So is what I think. So I tried to beat Boss Rush with this, and it was abysmal. But like, I do have some moments where I can see like 4 shots coming out together in a way that I cannot do with the D-pad rebind. You know what? I'm gonna change the rebind again. I'm gonna enable mashing on the D-pad. Like I'm just gonna put everything together. I don't need missiles, right? Let's just not. I'm gonna put mashing back on left and right D-pad, so I can compare the mash speeds as well. So like this is what it looks like when I mash with the D-pad. There are some gaps, but it also depends on my focus. Alright. And this is me with the raking, right? It doesn't look like anything to me, but oh, I got a decent, consistent stream there. It's something. I got a thing where I was trying to do this too fast, and Sam was like charging a beam like this. You see that? It's certainly a thing that you might be pressing it too fast or something, or maybe I'm like, maybe my hand's not perpendicular, just kind of tilted or something. If you kind of hang toward the right side of the button, it work better. I've been trying to do on the left side actually. But yeah, I guess it's gonna be a matter of figuring out what works or not. Okay, that's looking good. I could probably do a decent enough Raven Beak with this. It's still not very consistent. There are many gaps, but you know what's my first impression of this is that this feels so effortless compared to the method of mashing that I currently use. Like the D-pad, the good thing about the D-pad mashing is how flexible it is, because I can aim and free aim with the left hand, and the right hand does the mashing. I can move around freely and mash like this, right? But you can do the same thing with braking, right? You can do the same with braking. If you're good at the game, you could probably sneak in a jump and continue mashing, but a huge chance I'm gonna like fat finger the rest of my controller. This is with D-pad. And with raking, there's no way you're gonna be able to jump with the hand that's raking, unless you're a beast and you can rake with your nails while multitasking a B press. See, this is the issue this is the biggest issue I have with the turbo controllers, because you do not have to worry yourself about any of that. All you have to do is move and aim. You don't have to ever worry about mashing. Like, mashing takes up a lot of 1, mental space, and 2, physical space on your hand. You cannot possibly be mashing and doing all the other inputs simultaneously. Like, you cannot aim at the boss, jump over it, aim, like continue to aim and pass over or something. Like, this is the kind of thing you can do in RBX to improve your turbo times. You can dodge and continue to aim, and the mashing is still happening, right? Right? But you can't do that physically. I mean, maybe if you're a multitasking beast, maybe like 1 in a billion players can do that, but it's certainly not the norm. I cannot do this very consistently. This is something that would probably save me time in the Red Chozo fight, but again, there's a huge chance I will fat finger flash shift or melee or something and just choke the fight. So I don't do it. I just jump over, I turn around to not lose fuel, and then I continue to fire. If I have to jump over the bosses, that's a lot of downtime compared to turbo. If I had turbo, I would just jump and maybe flash shift away or something and continue to aim, right? But as a physical masher, this is not possible. So what you get with turbo is you get reliable fast mashing, and you are free. You have all the mental space. You don't even have to think or worry about mashing. You can simply focus on the movement and on the aiming. You never have to worry about the fighting. So it literally just ignores the skill in the game. Because learning to match is not just fancy pressing buttons fast. You have to press buttons fast. You have to manage other key presses. You have to aim. You have, right? You have to do lots of, it's literal lots of multitasking, right? You cannot possibly put these two things under the same leaderboard, like for a top competitor level of gameplay. But I tell you now, if they allow turbo equal with raking, I'm probably pulling from the boards. Me too. I did not consider that before, when I wasn't very good at mashing. But now that I put in the effort, I don't want to play with turbo, because the thing that drew me to speedruns was watching people do speedruns. When I before I even started speedrunning, I got into speedruns to begin with when I started watching some Mario Odyssey speedrunners. In particularly, I was very hung up on watching Nicrovita, the guy who got the first sub-hour in Mario Odyssey, grind that shit down. It was so fun to watch. This guy just played the absolute crap out of that game. And like, it just inspired me to try. I even tried learning some of the Mario Odyssey tech. I sucked at it. I probably also didn't use good resources. I think I just tried like copy what I saw the runners do, and it didn't work out because I was just a casual player. I didn't even know where to find the resources to learn how to do the tricks. I think I tried to find a few things, but it didn't work out very well. I got like the first movement trick once or twice and then never again, so it just demotivated me. I didn't continue to learn. But what drew me to the game was that I see this player playing the game and being really good at it with his own skill and effort, right? If I watch the runner play the game and he said, oh no, I'm not that good at the game, I'm just using some macros to make these tricks, that's it, I'd like just log off and close the stream and I'm like, okay, this is shit. So I have the same sentiment towards Turbo. Like, if I were watching a top level runner like just so badass at the game, and then, oh my god, you mashed so fast. Oh no, it's a turbo controller. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, you're still good at the game, sure, but like, that's not what I'm looking for, The human part of it that's what I'm saying. The human part of it makes it special. I would not be drawn to speedruns if it was just all about the turbo controllers. Guess what? The turbo controller is a machine. I don't care about the machine, I care about the players, right? It's one thing if everyone's on the same rule set. Like, if it's turbo controller versus turbo controller, that's fine. That's the same level of playfield, right? If you're playing under the same rule set as your opponent, that's one thing, right? What I care about is fairness in the categories that are run. If I'm playing under the same rule set, under the same limitations and restrictions as the other player, that's fine. It means if they're better than me, that means they put the effort for it, right? That means they're just generally more skilled than me. That's fine. I've never had an issue with that. I remember for the longest time, I wasn't able to do gold skip. What do you think I did? Cry? I didn't cry. I watched players do gold skip. I'm like, damn, they can do gold skip. That is so cool. I can't do that shit. I'm gonna have to tank a 30 or 40 second time loss, but I'm cool with that. I'll just do what I can do, and that's it. Now I can do it, but I couldn't do it for a long time. So it's not like I was born, like if you just up and enter my stream and you see me mash, you might think, damn, this guy mashes fast. It's true, but it wasn't always like that. There was a learning process. There was a long learning process. This didn't happen overnight. I remember when my single mash was not even good enough for 6 hertz, and it hurt me to actually try to go beyond those 6 hertz. And now that I've practiced, it doesn't hurt. It only hurts if I, try to mash for too long. But I think we're all we can all be responsible people and understand when we're exhausted and when we have to stop. So a lot of the arguments don't make sense to me. The majority of my growth as a runner was with single mashing too. Raking was after I had already developed my movement to a pretty solid level. Yeah, definitely. Like, it's not worth to practice smashing too much until you do movement. That's obvious. Yeah, first thing you want to focus on is movement. But like, you can't take mashing out of the equation. At some point through your grind, you're gonna be faced with a situation where you have to ask yourself, you have to look at your runs and you have to ask, where do I save more time? Because from a beginner's point of view, yeah, most important thing is remembering the route and improving movement. Yes, but at some point in your growth, you're gonna have to wonder, okay, my movement is good now. What is the next thing that I need to focus on? Because if you want to be a top level runner, it's not good enough to be just good at movement. You have to be good at movement. You have to be good at mash. You have to be good at the tricks, right? There's a variety of things that you have to be good at. And if you want to be a top level runner, you have to be good at everything, right? It's not just movement, it's everything. And that goes for other games, that goes for other competitions. You have to be good at everything. You especially have to practice the things that you're bad at, because that's usually where you save the most time, right? You can just continuously practice movement forever and neglect the rest of the game, right? You can if you use the turbo controller. You can then neglect mashing. That's that, right? But I don't personally. What I care about is not that you neglect mashing. Is that you put in the same leaderboard the mindset that neglects mashing and the mindset that tries to do everything they can to play the game fast, right? These are two things that are just not compatible. But yeah, I'm like rambling to the void. Anyway, raking is kind of cool. Again, the first impression I get from this is like when I do actually get some consistent streams out of this, it feels nice. It feels like I'm actually getting so much fire rate for so little effort, because the D-pad mash is a lot more exhausting. I used to think that it's pretty flexible in the way you can do it, because you can still insert a jump here if you're good at not fat fingering. You do have the freedom of movement and aiming with one hand and just mashing with the other. Another thing about mashing is there's a lot of downtimes, there's a lot of different grips. Sometimes I have, like I'm mashing, I have to jump over, I have to get back to the grip. And sometimes I need to warm up a little bit every time I redo the grip, because my thumb might not be in the exact position I want to do optimal mashing. So I might have to do a little bit of micro adjustments as I start mashing to go from 70% of my potential to the 90% or 100%. And then I might use a different grip for different situations in the game. So like that's all there. That's a whole lot of that's an entire skill set that you have, not just mashing. But anyway, I think I will only ever touch NMG and glitchless again, like seriously, once I learn raking. I definitely see the potential. If I can master this, it's gonna be a lot more convenient to mash with this than D-pad mash. I feel like I could do this for a long while, and I already get some consistent streams out of this that I don't get with D-pad. Still, I can still do the fast semi kills with just D-pad, but yeah, it's very exhausting. My biggest issue with this is the rebind, because I would have to get used to that big rebind. How do you guys do missile weaving? You put missiles on ZL and then morph somewhere else? Because that seems to be the most like within reach of the left hand without breaking aim, right? But then having to morph with another button is just gonna be weird. And sliding. Yeah, I don't know. That's why I haven't really learned raking properly, because I didn't want to do the rebind, especially for unrestricted. I don't want to relearn shine sinks. I don't want to relearn a lot of stuff. Wall clips with grapple beam and stuff. Neutral jump clip even. And then these guys come in with the argument of accessibility. as soon as somebody takes mashing to the next level, they want more accessibility. Like, man, I genuinely think so it's just a suggestion thread, right? Nothing's confirmed, nothing is set in motion, but the mentality of the community is so adverse to speedrunning, I just don't get it. It's not the speedrunning mindset that I signed up for when I started playing Dread. Because we're basically being told how we need to play the game as no turbo runners. We're not. They don't want us to have a choice. I don't understand. But I don't want to run with turbo, so. Yo, what's up, Carter Freak? What's up, man? What's up, Carter? Are we complaining about Dread community? Yeah, there's been a new debate on turbo controllers. They want to bring back and cap turbo, and I don't want to play with turbo. I also just got an unrestricted PB. We got the world record back. Kind of ending it on a good note here. Yeah, it's kind of sad. I don't even want to know the reasoning for that. Okay, you don't want to know, but I'll tell you. B-Dog was able to push mashing to a new level with his new control scheme. He basically brought raking back. Like he brought raking from Super Metroid to Metroid Dread. Like he came up with a fancy control scheme that took him probably a couple months to learn. He basically had to relearn the game, but he's like, you know, raking on the R trigger or something like this. I haven't mastered it yet. You're probably not going to see any like high level mashing, right? So we're taking SNES controller tech and applying the Switch controller. Exactly. So he brought it to Dread, and like his mashing is insane, right? He can probably achieve speeds of like, you know, 19, 20 hertz, maybe higher. And it's like, I'm trying this now. I usually mash with the D-pad, like left and right. I put my thumb across left and right D-pad and I just like roll left and right. This is a lot of wrist movement. This is pretty exhausting. But I mean, I've practiced this for a long time. I can handle it. I do get exhausted like in Ravenbeak. When I get to phase 3 of Ravenbeak, my mashing is just not very effective anymore. So my first impression of doing the raking thing is that this feels almost effortless. Almost. Like, I haven't mastered it. It's probably going to take me a long time to get this to a level where I can actually use it in runs. But sometimes I get a few good streams of shots going and it feels good. It's not nowhere near the amount of effort I have to put for the D-pad, and it feels nice, and it has a much higher fire rate cap than D-pad, right? And so community saw B-Dog's times and how his mashing is so good, and is like, okay, well, mashing players have a huge advantage on turbo runners. Turbo runners now feel threatened that they cannot compete with top level mashers anymore, so they want to raise the cap to at least 20 hertz. But like, currently, like the current iteration of the rulings is already good enough for turbo as an accessibility tool, right? If the argument is that you want turbo as an accessibility tool, the current ruling is already good enough. Like a runner that starts playing the game right now and is not good at mashing is instantly gonna have access, if they choose to play with the turbo controller, they're instantly gonna have access to a 12 hertz mashing, consistent and constant, which is huge. Like, if you don't even understand how good that is in terms of time save. You basically don't deserve to have that mash, but you have it for free, right? Quad, you still have to pay for the turbo controller, so it's not free, right? But in terms of effort put into it, it's free, right? But yeah. What's funny, Scotty has been doing the 8 rake forever, but because they didn't play extensively outside Vahano, people didn't care they raked 18, 20 hertz. When I watched one of his runs for the first time and I saw him Atom Mash, I was like, holy shit, what? This is what good Atom Mash looks like? I had no idea. And ever since then, I've been improving my double mash on the A button, but he inspired me to try harder on the text mash because I didn't even know you could do that, you know? But yeah, he doesn't play a lot of Dread. Sometimes he comes back and bops Hundo, but yeah. What's up, Golden Dewey? God, I couldn't believe how bad it was until I saw it with my own eyes. Yeah, it's definitely a weird conversation. In that thread, I hope a huge turbo only skip gets discovered so that the only way to make it work would be split. you know, Sonic. I would love to lab that, but I don't want to buy a turbo controller. Damn. I know. I'm pretty sure I could find something, dude. Holy shit. Board should have been split from the start. Yeah, they should have just followed what other communities in speedrun do, tried and tested, but I don't understand what we're going for. Because a couple of people at the top decide to use that match it to use. Like, the thing is that they are trying to enforce how we play the game. Like, if I don't want to play with the turbo controller, I won't play with the turbo controller. It doesn't matter what kind of rulings you have planned, how many Google documents you're gonna write about the topic. I don't want. I just want to play with my own skill. If I have to compete with someone else and they are cheating, which is basically what turbo feels like at a high level, let me remind you that within a few days of the first ruling of turbo being released and uncapped turbo was allowed, B-Dog had a very solid NMG run, something like a low 16 or a high 16, I don't remember. It was a time that no one else was even close to getting. It was myself, Maruf, and Sam Boner grinding at the time. We were the closest to B-Dog's times, but we're still like a minute away from his time. He's chilling, right? Within a few days, Sam decides to order his 20 Hz controller. Within a few days or a week of the ruling coming out, he bops B-Dog's time because Sam Boner was like, he was a good runner. He still plays other games, I'm sure, but like, dude is a good runner. His movement was top notch if he could get a good run going. But his mashing wasn't good, so he benefited a lot from turbo. Within a few days, he bought B-Dog's run, and they're in the same leaderboard. So number one now is Sam, not B-Dog, right? But we know that B-Dog put so much more effort into that run, right? So the people that make this conversation for turbo, most of them are not top runners. Most of them are casual runners, mid-tier runners. Maybe they're close to the top of the leaderboard, but let's face it, we don't have a lot of competition on the leaderboard right now. Being top of the leaderboard doesn't necessarily mean much, right? And so they want to bring back Uncapped Turbo when we've already seen the negatives that it's going to bring. I don't think I can explain more than that. I don't think I need to, right? It really doesn't make sense. Oh man. But people are incredibly adamant about keeping them together in initial discussion. They should have zero problems with turbo for accessibility, but it should have just been a different board. Yeah, as I said, like the current rulings are fine for accessibility, more than fine. Again, if you're a new runner and you get a turbo controller, you're gonna get that massive boost to your mashing in your boss fights, and that's that. It's a huge thing. Like I started running with I was barely able to do 6 Hz mashing. To get 12 Hz mashing for free, my times would have been a lot better. Obviously, my boss fights would have been so much better if I could just focus on movement, right? And that's why I think they don't belong in the same category. They still adamant say that split is offensive to turbo runners and othering them. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. I think you're just creating problems where they don't exist and making it like the main issue. Literally pulling problems out of their butts. I don't know. I feel like they're just trying to force the way that we play the game. I don't know. I love how I came in, told them that DP is literally married to a disabled person, they still cry big at ableist. Yeah. Oh my god. Ableist, I didn't even know that was a word. Ableist, what? These people are so, like, the mentality is so down that they think they can do things, man. What? Like, sure, if you have problems in your wrist, then maybe you can do mashing. Okay. But like, if you create one board with just, like, that's specifically meant for turbo, and one board that's meant for no turbo, then you have 2 boards, right? There's no need to have turbo runners and non-turbo runners. You can do both. Like, you can do both turbo and non-turbo runs. I don't understand what's the problem. If it's inclusivity, then maybe the runners that play on the no turbo boards, they could, do a few runs on the turbo boards just to give them a means of comparison or something, right? It's not mutually exclusive. No one says that a no turbo runner can't do a turbo run. No one says that a turbo runner can't do a no turbo run. Like, what? I don't understand, man. It would actually create more diversity in the runs. I can't understand the appeal of creating a category where you just go a lot with turbo. It probably results in a different game. Suddenly you get free backdoor flash shift with those turbo jumps. It's something that exists. You get extra time save on the Emmys. You get extra time save on Ravenbeak, on whatever boss you can do with mashing, right? You can probably use turbo on other inputs like jump, the jump for the backdoor flash, the fire button for the bosses, but you might even find other places where you can use turbo that no one's found yet, right? And none of that gets found because turbo wants to compete with no turbo. It's stupid. Like, just split the boards, figure out fun tech that can only be done with turbo, and that's actually more fun. If I had a turbo controller, I wouldn't want to be limited. Like, these guys are claiming that paying $50 or whatever for a turbo controller is like a must. It's really good for your health, but like, why are you gonna pay $50 for a turbo to only use it at like half its potential? Like, you're gonna buy an expensive car only to drive at like 50 or 7 or wherever it is, right? It's the same thing, dude. Like, don't tell me what to do with my hobby. Don't tell me what to do with my hobby. Man, I get so mad with the whole topic of it being back. It's just while seeing this come again after initial discussion, then the second discussion, it's just a constant, okay, we concede you can have turbo boards, but then just constantly went forward. They just never budge on it. I genuinely think from how the discussions went that the mods have a direction they want to take, and they just want to convince the community of that direction before moving forward with it, and that there's very little to be contested about it, like in practice, and that the discussions are kind of a waste of time. I pitched in the thread, but like I feel like it's not gonna really do much, but I mean, at least I said what I had to say, right? Because there was the argument before that, oh, we did the ruling, lots of people didn't share their opinion, so we just did the ruling, and well, I mean, you don't have that excuse now, right? You don't have that excuse now. The gap would take most of those people over a year of constant grind and obsession. Even if they had a turbo controller, it would still take that long. Yeah. If you're talking about like the gap between B-Dog and other people's times in the leaderboard, then yeah, even with turbo, they're probably not gonna get anywhere close to that. Because that's gonna give you time on the boss fights, and B-Dog's match is already pretty good, right? Even with turbo, you're not gonna save like a minute on the boss fights. You might get seconds, but it's not gonna amount to too much. I'm sorry, chat. I'm just like stuck in a bit iron chat. Dude, I can't run because of my wrists. I would never ever want to say I'm the same because I ran a few uncapped turbo runs. It's not the same at all, and that's why I think having split boards would be fine. You can have people that can't really mash playing with uncapped turbo, and even people that can mash could choose to play with uncapped turbo, and you're competing with those people under the same rule set. That's fair, right? Like, I already had wrist issues before I started Run Dread, like nothing like life impeding or anything, but I do have to be careful with my wrists. Some of it was like from playing other games before Dread, Splatoon, games before Splatoon. Playing on the 3DS actually kind of messed up my thumb. That stupid circle pad was bullshit. Never playing 3DS ever again, man. But yeah, and obviously many hours on the PC, programming, writing, all that stuff, gaming, right? You know, I already had some issues before, but like, I still do it. I know when to stop. If I feel like I'm getting tired, I stop. I get some rest. I do some warm-ups, you know? Why are you gonna tell me that I can run the game how I like, right? Don't know, man. Wait, if Turbo gets uncapped on a merge board, help it become Turbo only by the same. I do not want to contribute to a weird leaderboard. No, man, just seeing it come up against, you know, I'm gonna run cap, I can regret my initial support. Yeah, I also stated that was okay with the 12 hertz, but like they just keep pushing, and the reason why they keep pushing was mainly because they saw B-Dog is now able to do like pretty big mash, like no turbo, right? And so they want to even out the playfield by lifting the restrictions on turbo, because the best player can mash really fast. They want all the players to be able to have access to that mash for free. So it is no longer an argument for accessibility, it's literal pay to win. It is only pay to win. I would not be surprised if some of the board members are working for, you know, controller companies or are sponsored by controller companies. I would not be surprised at all if that is the case, because they push so hard. They really want you to buy a turbo controller. Like, the only people that really benefit from this are the controller companies, no one else. Certainly not the runners that are most dedicated. They don't. So yeah. Anyway, I'm ruining my runs if they keep it margin up turbo. Yeah, I'm super sad to see this is still up for debate. Seems like the first 13 hertz compromise isn't enough. What more do you want? Yeah, I think the current rule set is good enough as an accessibility tool. But keep in mind that I've always thought it was not a good idea to put the two together. It's like Scotty said in the thread that if you keep the restriction on a low level hertz, 12 hertz is not low, but compared to good mashers, it is kind of low, right? If you keep it low, turbo runners are going to feel like the restriction is too heavy. If you put it too high, then you're giving turbo runners mash for free, higher fire rate for free, and then no turbo runners are eventually not going to be able to compete with that. Because even if you're good at raking or mashing, you don't keep a 100% steady and consistent fire rate. There are gaps in your shots. Sometimes you fire a little slower, maybe sometimes you fire a little faster, sometimes you might choke your shots a little bit. It's not 100%, right? There's the human component in there. You don't have that with a turbo controller. It's not like that consistency you get from the turbo mashing is something that you can't replicate on a human. It's, yeah, I don't understand the argument people are making. It's literal casual players making an argument for how the speedrun should be and making it not a speedrun but a party game. But I'm not here for the party game. I'm here for the speedrun, you know? In what concerns me and my possible performance in the leaderboards, it feels like they're trying to turn it into a party game, dude. I don't get it. If that is the leaderboard they want, it's something that I don't want to be a part of. Like, I don't mean to shape this as a threat or anything. It's just like where I'm drawing the line for myself. If that's the direction you guys want to take the game, like, do it. You have my blessing. I'm not gonna. It's not something I'm interested, so I'm not gonna be in it. But that's what you want. Like, go ahead and do it. The good for your health argument is bullshit. Every runner can decide what risk they're willing to take. Exactly. If I want to play with no turbo and learn to mash, I'm free to do so. My body, my rules, isn't that right? Why are they telling me, if they're making an argument for inclusivity, why aren't they saying that, right? Isn't that right? So it's not being inclusive. Like, I respect anyone's decision to go the turbo controller route. If you care about your hands, good for you, great for you. Worry about your hands. I worry about mine. They're assuming that we who mash are going to destroy our hands immediately and guaranteed, but that's not the case. You can also make the case for going to the gym. You go to the gym, you push, you lift your weights, you use the machines, all that stuff, right? Imagine one day staff from the gym comes to you and says, buddy, you can't lift that weight here. We don't allow that. We only allow you to lift the bare minimum weight to use the machine. And that's all you can do here, because we are too concerned about people hurting themselves. We don't want you to hurt yourself. You just have to pay our very cheap subscription to access this gym, but you're not gonna, yeah, you can't do the weights, man, right? It's kind of like that, man. You gotta realize that people have the right to do whatever, like what they want, and it's up to each of us to understand how we can keep doing things healthy, right? I think it's something that if you're gonna do something, you need to learn how to do it healthily, right? If you're just prevented from trying, that's not fixing the problem. I'm more likely to fuck up my hands drumming or playing piano. Probably, yeah. Piano is even more demanding. I don't play piano. I used to play drums as a teen. I don't play anymore, but I did play drums. And yeah, it's a lot more intense. It can be a lot more intense than mashing. And especially piano. Like, mashing doesn't even compare to what a person can do on the piano. And I'm sure some of the stuff you learn on piano, you can convert that into mashing prowess too. Probably helps. Right now the argument is we're free to do that, but on a merged board. Yeah, so you're free to do that, but you have to play with my rules. And my rules are based on how you play the game. Because the limits for turbo controllers are based off of how fast no turbo runners can mash. So we're basically being held captive by turbo controller runners in that the rules are based off no turbo, but yeah, it's stupid. Effort being disadvantaged against lack of effort is an insane take. Yeah, it's basically what it comes down to. It's a completely insane argument that's going on, and people actually believe the things that they're saying. It's incredible. And there's been more action in the thread since I last checked. Wow, I'm just now reading. Wait. Man, I can see the names because I have streamer mode enabled, but someone is asking for respect for other people and don't actually just send their posts with thumbs down. How would you feel if everyone who disagreed reacted that way to your post? The same people that are going there are trying to argue pro turbo are like massively thumbs downing everyone. This is so stupid. What? They're literally just trying to force their takes on everybody. It's not possible to have a discussion with these people. I really don't think that this discussion is gonna go anywhere. And yo, Starvax, thanks so much for the follow. I don't have streamer bot enabled right now. I should. Ed says he has a bad shoulder and breaking definitely aggravates it, but you don't use your shoulder. Most of the movement is like on your biceps. No, you don't really need to move your shoulder. I'm starting to think that the people who are going who are advocating for turbo just don't know how to mash and are assuming that it's just bad, and they're not even considering trying to fix what they're doing wrong. But I don't know. We just need a separate board from SRC like DKCMM games do. Feels like the SRC boards are more or less commandeered by people who aren't going to change their minds regardless of input. Is this the same in other communities though? Like, is there such a big disconnect between the moderators and what the runners want and do in other communities like this? Because this is the only game that I speedrun at the moment. I haven't really been in other communities much in the context of speedruns, so I don't know. I think BDog might be working on a document of some kind, but I don't know what else could be done. I remember a long time ago, somebody kept a document with the best times because it was taking them a long time to update the leaderboards. Because when the game came out, they actually had hundreds of runs being submitted probably every day, which is not how it goes now. But yeah, they kept a document of like the top 10 runs or something, so that anyone who wanted to just keep up with the top runners could just check the document and see the times, because it wasn't up to date on speedrun.com. I can think of a community that, funnily enough, Dread is the only one. Damn. Sup, troll? I got an ad as well. Sorry, man. Blame Twitch, not me. That's why I watch on YouTube, but chat on Twitch. Yeah. Wait, don't you get ads on YouTube? I'm pretty sure YouTube should also show some ads. Oh, sorry, I wasn't looking at YouTube. I missed a message. Yeah, Crafter, I did get a world record. I'm just tuning in what's going on. Yeah, we're just ranting about recent directions on the speedrun community for Metroid Dread. That's it. I'm enjoying the rant. We don't want you to hurt yourself because that's not covered by our insurance. It's an anomaly. Usually the board mods are speedrunners themselves. Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, they do speedruns, but no one in the mods really runs at like a competitively high level. The only top level runners currently are B-Dog, Prince, myself. I'm definitely not putting as much effort as those two are in Glitchless or NMG. I might have been a top runner at some point. I'm like a washed up top runner. Maybe not in unrestricted, but in the other categories, yeah, a little bit. There's also Noyazaki, there's Bunny, there's Sad, but they're not playing the game actively, so yeah. Slav, you are by the throat. Yeah, man. I want to say that I still have some of the most consistent UR late games, but not in this particular run. Not a top player anymore. I mean, you were at some point. You definitely were at some point. You put in some world records back in the day. Nobody's touching that 100 world record for a long time. I mean, you do have early chart skip now. My run didn't have that. And I know my run is also not very optimized, but like, you're gonna have to run against early charge, Emmy Warp, killing RBX and succeeding first try. Doing the missile tank double clip in Fereni is very scary. You can easily lose a lot of time there if you don't nail down those neutral jump clips. And if you're unlucky, you might get a Hobbit skew and you're fucked with RNG. So Hundo Unrestricted is... If you thought 80% Unrestricted was bad to grind at a high level, Hundo Unrestricted is so much worse than that. No one's even grinding that at that much of a high level even. Hundo UR is too much icky material for me to bother with until I max out some other categories. Now, why don't I play a little bit of Boss Rush while we talk? You guys are just like... There's no interesting content going on. Like, visually, so... I'm gonna go back to my usual thing and maybe get some Boss Rush times, because I deleted my save data a while back. So now my best time is the 13-minute Boss Rush with the raking rebinds. I went from 5-minute-ish to 13. Oh man. I'll be honest, only thing that makes me sad outside of the conversation coming up again and Cab being pushed in merger board is that people still using slurs in their arguments without bringing up names here. Yeah, there's a lot of it, isn't it? I haven't read I mean, I've read most of the thread, just not the newest. I will probably after stream, but like just not the newest posts. Oh wait, was this text and not Ed? I'm not sure. So someone is making the case here. I just want to add a caveat here. Raking is less damaging to the hands for sure, as you mentioned. I have a bad shoulder, not was able. I do take care of it, and raking definitely aggravates it more than anything else. So here's the thing: a very important thing that you have to keep in mind as a speedrunner that does not use turbo is, do you even know how raking came to be? Everybody's got raking in their mouths, but like, do you even understand how it came to be? The concept was not created by you. It was not even created by B-Dog. But certainly, like 99% of the community did not, B-Dog brought it to Dread because he was creative enough to figure out a way that it worked for him. If you can do raking, why don't you spend time figuring out a remap that works for you, right? I did the same for the D-pad. B-Dog did it for the raking. Who knows? Maybe someone's gonna come in and figure out even better tech than raking or D-pad tech, right? Like, why are people complaining about being unable to compete against raking? Why don't you figure out a good way for you to mash? Because B-Dog had to do that. He had to put his creativity to the test and lab the shit out of that and practice a ton to make it work. He didn't just like overnight start getting 20 hertz like more or less consistently. This is something that there is so much to be said about gripping the controller, mashing, like so much to be said about that. Multitasking, the way you have to hold the controller, switch from some buttons to others, tackle different parts of the game. You still have to do some of that with the turbo controller, but you don't have to ever worry about the mashing. And that's why it's inherently unfair. Like, you can make the arguments you want about health, but fairness is the most important argument in a sport, I think, for every sport. If you make a sport that's not fair, it's a party game. It's Smash Brothers with items. That's not a speed run. I still can aim if I'm mashing. I mean, yeah, but there are ways to do that. I can aim while mashing because the D-pad rebind is. I worked to make a D-pad mash that allowed me to still aim. I can still move or aim, right? It's possible. I don't claim that it's comfortable. It's pretty exhausting, but like, it's tough. It is tough. I'll be honest. The only thing that makes me sad. Oh, wait, I've already read this. It wasn't person. I know, but said person is higher profile in the community. It's been a recurring problem. Yeah. Like, no one's really caring about the high level runners pitching in, but low key, it's kind of an important demographic of the speed game, you know? I can move, I can mash and move with maintaining 20 hertz. Are you using turbo? Or are you raking? We're literally playing on uneven ground and still find ways to improve that aspect. Yeah. As I said, maybe one day someone's gonna come up and figure out a better method than raking. And then they're gonna go full on uncapped turbo. And then it's game over. Like, no turbo runners are basically being punished for figuring out ways to get better at the game. That's what it boils down to. It's not accessibility anymore. It's just jealousy or something. I don't know. Because I'm not worried about your individual take on or your individual decision of using turbo. Like, listen, let's disregard leaderboards. Let's take leaderboards and the speedrun out of the equation. If you yourself are gonna run the game, you can do it however you want. If you choose to do turbo, like, you can have fun with turbo controllers. Why not? Who's gonna say otherwise? What am I gonna say otherwise? If you want to have fun with turbo, go and have fun with turbo. I even see the appeal of that, playing the game without having to worry about mashing, because it is exhausting. It's true. It's true. It is exhausting to mash. So if you have an interest in playing the game without having to worry about mash, yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. I could get behind that. I could get behind that, right? But we all know that's not what the argument's about. I mean, I could, but I choose not to because it's not worth it to me. True. I mean, I spent a long time not really working on my mashing because I had so much of I had so much time saves everywhere else. I only really started to learn how to mash in one of the iterations of the routes that you didn't have storm missiles for Ravenbeak. That's when I learned to mash properly. Because I had most of the run down, and I was still down a lot of time on Ravenbeak compared to even Turbo Runners, right? That's when I really started to put in effort, and that was not until like 1 or 2 years into the runs or something. I don't even recall. It may be more like 1 year into the run. I don't remember. But yeah, I understand. Like, you don't have to automatically go for the best mashing method just because someone does it. It also comes down to doing what makes sense to you as a runner, as a person. You gotta take your own health into account, but it's hard to have others telling you how to take your health into account based on their own projections. It doesn't work like that. It's wanting the same without putting in an equal amount of effort, yeah. How about short boost? Sasby's an invalid argument? What even is the argument? There's no argument, it's just saying like, I mean, why don't you learn Sasb or something? I don't know. What's up, Tatsush? Just for people knowing, I already participated a ton in this debate yesterday and it exhausted me, so I quit Discord and I'm not in the mood for playing the game anymore. We'll see you later. Yeah. I don't feel like going back to grinding 100%. I don't feel like going back to grinding a glitchless 0%, whatever categories, because at some point they're probably just gonna go through the decision of keeping the boards merged and upping the cap or something, and it's just gonna like, it's gonna be the same as the first uncap of Turbo. The biggest issue, oh man, the biggest issue to me isn't about what the cap should be, rather that a merged board is straight up unfair, and yet people want to push these boundaries more and more and grind the same in the name of inclusivity. It's not even about inclusivity to these people anymore. Yeah, I mean, I wonder how they're gonna build their rules once the no turbo runners are gone, because if they decide their mashing cap based on how the best masher mashes, if there isn't a masher left to mash, how are they gonna figure out their mash, right? That's a lot of mash in one sentence. Fuck. But see, I'm kind of curious to see how it goes. Are they gonna make a turbo only board? Because if no turbo mashers, if no like non-turbo runners are left, are they going to make rules for the sake of turbo? I'm curious about that. As a scientist, I want to see an answer to this question. But I can't lab that. I can't be bothered to keep my runs on such a board. I call that a pay to win. Yeah, I also don't want to. I don't want to compete in a pay to win board. I refuse. I absolutely refuse. Mash isn't even the right word anymore because it carries such a stigma that people won't even listen to it. Yeah, what would be a better word? I don't know. Like, I still think that the rulings as they are fine for accessibility. Like, no one in the discussion is anywhere close to the world record times anywhere, aside from, of course, B-Dog Prince. So the argument that you can get a 105 time with turbo cap to sell, like, for most people it's not really something that you should be arguing about. Like, put in the effort and maybe come back to it, but even then nothing's gonna change the fact that putting turbo and non-turbo under the same leaderboard is unfair. If it's not unfair for turbo runners, it's unfair for no turbo runners. If it's unfair for non-turbo runners, like, it literally can't make it fair for both. That's it. We've already seen the result of that. We are the bad guys because we don't want to play with something that plays the game for you. Such like, that's what it boils down to. It's not even about the health argument. It's just the leveling the playfield. Because again, like the only thing that I'm concerned about, and I've already explained, is when Uncapped Turbo was first allowed into the leaderboards, one of the top players immediately shot up by 2 minutes and overtook the world record within a matter of days, right? That's not the kind of competition that I want to play against. It's stupid. I don't want that. Obviously, a player on the same skill level as I is going to outperform me if they get access to 20 hertz or 30 hertz for free, right? I'm not interested in that. I want to play with my own skill. It's not a matter of health or not. It's just simple fairness. If you don't want to play fair, well, then I don't want to play with you. Obviously, that's just what it boils down to. It doesn't get any simpler than that. You don't want to play fair, I don't want to play with you. That's it. I don't want to play under the same leaderboard as you. That's it. It comes up in many games. It's called cheating. I don't want to compete with cheaters. If it's one thing if everybody's on board with using cheats to play their games. It's one thing if you're, hiding your cheat and the other person is not cheating and you're like, oh, I'm so good at the game. But you're cheating, man. That's the only concern that I have. And again, we don't have to masquerade behind the leaderboards. You can play the game however you want, right? I can play the game however I want. No one's gonna stop me. No one's gonna tell me what to do. I've been playing video games for almost 30 years now. I'm 30 now. I've been playing video games for almost 30 years. Who's gonna tell me how to like? Who's gonna tell me how I should or shouldn't play games, right? Bro. Dude, the boards would be listed as no turbo and turbo. That's kind of standard for leaderboards for other games. Yeah, I mean, that's how they do it for other games. Maybe they don't want to do it for Dread because it would result in too many categories. You'd have turbo glitchless, no turbo glitchless. Then you have rookie mode, hard mode, normal mode. You have like 8 different categories for each different difficulty or something like that. Maybe they don't want to do that. I get it, but like, why not? What even is the problem with that? It'd be a toggle-like difficulty though, it wouldn't be hard. Well, it would still create an imbalance in the difficulty settings because putting normal, hard, and dread under the same category is... Well, we've also been there. But I mean, something has to give, right? Something has to give. I don't know. Plenty of games that have multiple toggles. Yeah. Mario Odyssey would like to know your location. All right, let's take a look at speedrun.com Mario Odyssey. Or wait, whatever it's called. I'm just gonna Google that so I don't introduce. Oh, SMO. Easier than I thought. How did they do that? Any percent, 1 player, 2 player. World Peace, 1 player, 2 player, Dark Side, All Moons. Wait, they don't have difficulty toggles, right? The game doesn't have difficulty, right? I mean, you do have many filters, but the filters are for version in physical digital, not for other stuff. And the game doesn't even care about turbo, so it's not a great comparison for Dread anyway. While I was running Dread, my job was to pull ropes and then tie rope knots 7 hours a day. Dread wasn't the thing that would fuck up my hands. Understandable. That's a lot of hard work. And I mean, if you still choose to run with no turbo, then like, who are the other players to tell you what to do? If you still feel capable of doing no turbo runs, and like, if that's how you want to play the game, that's that. I'm sure it's fine to tell, like, okay, take care of your hands. It doesn't hurt to tell you to take care of your hands, but like, it's one thing to say take care of your hands, and another thing is, oh, you're not gonna use your hands because I don't want you to, because it's unhealthy for you. Now you have to use turbo. That's kind of the argument. Picarico, thank you for the follow. They took over competitive leaderboards, trying to make them casual, and wonder why there's nobody running competitively. It's a side effect of the turbo rulings, yeah. They've already pushed some of the biggest runners in the first ruling. You guys remember Oats and Goats running this game? Samurai Man, Shiny Zenny, Clipper. These people haven't touched Dread in years since the rulings. I think maybe Clipper ran a few NMG runs, but I think they all stopped. I think they all kind of just gave up on Dread after the turbo ruling. These are high-profile people who have a large following. Like they barely touch Dread these days. I think Samurai Man maybe did an unrestricted run at some point at GDQ and stuff, but like he's not actively running the game. So like the damage has already been done. If there was a graph of the people interested in Dread and then in the turbo ruling, you would see an immediate drop like next day. Of course, I don't have that data, right? But I can only imagine. But like, if you've already pushed out of the community some of the most prominent profiles in the Metroid speedrunning community as a whole, I'm not saying Dread speedrun community, I'm saying Metroid speedrun community. If you've already pushed those people away because of those rulings, and no one's even reflected on why that happened, what exactly went wrong with the rulings, if we're still pushing for those rulings again after having seen the negative outcome, I think that like the moderators, the people running the community have not learned the lesson, right? There are some lessons to be learned. Yo, Neo Starvax, thank you so much for the sub, man. Appreciate it. We do got some emotes. Here's some hype for you. They could have carried the game viewership wise for a while, yeah, and they did. Like in the first 3 months or so, they just played hard, man. It was actually kind of fun to watch them play, because when I started playing Dread, I sucked. I wasn't a runner. I was just like a casual, and I watched these runners whack at the game, and it was very, very fun to see what they could do and try to compete with them as a up and coming runner. When I started, I was nowhere near the times that these guys were getting. But it was still something to aim for. That's what the community needed. But nope. Meh, and dropped hundreds of potential viewers. Yeah. They still say they have saved the game from bigotry. No, they have not. W takes, what's up, Tex? W takes deserve a sub. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. I still have to get back to making more emotes, but we have more emotes now than we had like 3 weeks ago. So I still have to decide what I want to add next. I don't know what. I just finished reading their threads. A lot of the same arguments from the first 2 turbo threads. Isn't that funny? Like, same arguments that at some point they settle for accessibility, but it's not quite accessibility, huh? I just discovered your channel yesterday with your 100% world record, and so I was streaming today. Nice. I hope you enjoyed the run. That run is like a one of a kind, because no one else is grinding 100% unrestricted. It's a disgusting category to run. That's probably gonna say world record for a while. Yeah, today we just got a world record for any percent unrestricted. Yesterday I played for 2 hours. I didn't get a run past Cadres and Emmy Warp. Today we got it first try. It's not a big PB, but it's a PB. Small world record. I remember a time where Oats and Zenny were running the game, and they were like back to backing on the world records. It was very cool to watch that. I was nowhere near that skill level at the time, and I'm probably not even close to their skill level in any way, because these guys run Super Metroid that's far more demanding than Metroid Dread. They're really, really good at the game. Like, there's no way. Even if these guys came back to Dread, they would crush the board immediately. probably. But I'm sure they're not interested in that, but like that's just how good they are. Super Metroid is far more demanding than Dread, and they ace that shit. Non-turbo side. Hey, yeah, go ahead, have turbo just put on separate board. Turbo side, need merge board because turbo healthier and inclusivity, also non-turbo side elitist, lol. Yeah. So dumb. This is so dumb, man. They're just bringing the wrong arguments into the discussion. These guys are just bringing the wrong arguments into the discussion. It's not possible to have a discussion with them. I don't know. I am really put off when I read Prince or even Sator. Sator at some point was a mod in the community. He even played with Turbo before. Even Sat cannot get them to see reason. What's up, Robbie? We did get a new PB. It is also world record by 6 seconds. I'm not particularly proud of the run. I will upload it and highlight it later, but yeah. Oh, I missed some YouTube messages. Mega Man 11 leaderboard. Mega Man 11. Let me see what's Mega Man 11 like. Oh my god, I cannot type. Mega Man 11. Oh, they got any percent and any percent no out of bounds. Basically no major glitches, sort of. And they have newcomer, casual, normal, superhero. I mean, they have the same toggles for Dread, right? In the Dread speedruns, they have the same toggle. So if you added turbo, then you'd probably have to add some more toggles in there. You'd have turbo and non-turbo alongside the difficulty. So it would create something like 8 different subcategories under each any percent category, each category. I don't know. Yeah, it would bloat with. I'm sure it would bloat with subcategories, but like the way it stands, it's just not sustainable, I guess. Never could have guessed the speedrun was that heated right now. From a point of view of someone not in the speedrun, I agree that turbo should be separated. That is like it's the norm for most speed games to have turbo separated from no turbo, because it's just it's not an even play field like that. You can't really put a human and a machine or a tool assisted thing on the same play field. It doesn't make sense. And the only thing I care about is the fairness. You can make the arguments you want. You can make all the arguments you want about health, but I only care about the fairness because this is a sport. We are all aware that a sport can be mentally draining, physically draining, exhausting, potentially harmful if not done correctly. This is true for almost every sport. You guys ever watch wrestling? Yeah. Don't just bump yourselves on the floor all day. You gotta take some rest. You gotta get rest, right? That's how it is, man. Not even worth arguing there anymore. The same things have been said from both sides for 3 years. So, for those who don't know, the heat now is that the moderators for Dread have allowed uncapped turbo at some point on the leaderboards, and it resulted in most of the top level competitors just outright abandoning the game because they don't want to be on the same playfield as turbo controller players, because it's just simply not fair. We like top level runners want to compete with other top level runners. Player skill versus player skill. I think that's just the easiest way to sum it up. I sure don't want to play like Mash against somebody mashing for free on their turbo controller. And that's just from the point of view of fairness. I don't think it's possible to just like push this agenda on inclusivity like that. It's just kind of arbitrary. I don't know. The speedrun's not the right place to push that. That's just what I think. I think the most important thing is creating a leveled playfield for the runners. If you put turbo in one category and no turbo on the other, it's a leveled playfield for both categories. Anyone can play. even turbo players can play with, even no turbo players can choose to play with the turbo controller on the turbo leaderboard, and everybody's on the leveled field, right? That's all that I care about. I think putting it in the same board is just anti-competition, like anti-competitive is what I mean, anti-sport. Yeah. MM11 leaderboards are on megamanleaderboards.net, not SRC. Wait, why? Did the community just quit from speedrun.com, or was there a similar event to the Dread? SRC came after? Oh, okay. I know, for some reason I thought SRC was older. It seems to like you know, put all the speedruns together under the same website. I guess there's equal amounts of good and bad in that, right? Same as Mario Kart 64, okay. Yeah, they even have like a list of world records. You definitely can do a lot more with a dedicated website. Of course, it requires more work to put together, but they even have a history of the world records. That's pretty cool, man. Supposedly, speedrun.com should have this kind of feature, but some of their features are a little out of whack. And because there have been so many changes to the categories and routes over time, all this information is just kind of lost the time, even. They've had to merge and unmerge categories many times, so the history is not accurate anyway. It definitely does not replace like a maintained list. Similar to why SM is on Deer Tier, Halo is on Halo Runs. Okay, that makes sense. I think the SM runners still upload to speedrun.com, but maybe they upload to multiple websites then. I had no idea. Yeah, man, I think I've said most of what I wanted to say about the whole discussion. My stance hasn't changed much since the previous discussions. I guess the arguments also, in general, haven't changed much. I don't think there's anything else to be said, really. Like, mods are gonna do what they want to do, and I guess I'm gonna do what I want to do. Not only am I kind of burned out on Dread, the prospect of having my runs being turned around with uncapped turbo in the future under the same leaderboard just doesn't really give me the motivation to continue to grind this game. I'm not too worried about unrestricted. Get your 30 hertz if you like. I think the next logical step is to advocate for macros. Suddenly people are going to be advocating for macros because practicing shine sinks, practicing atom skip, practicing early charge skip hurts your hands. It does. I often feel pretty cramped after I spend a while practicing these tricks. So maybe now we're gonna advocate for macros so that runners don't have to hurt their hands even further. And not only that, because learning these tricks take time, and so that everybody can be on a leveled playfield and you don't have to spend too much time learning the tricks. You just press one button on your controller, it replays the macro, it gets you the shine sink, it gets you the early charge, it gets you a water skip, it gets you everything, right? One button. That is going to be the next logical step. If we don't draw the line now, it will never end. So yeah. Maybe one day when they add macros, I'll worry about unrestricted. But right now, I think we're fine. Oh man, what have we come to? I'm only half joking about that, but like half not joking because it doesn't really track. I mean, listen, I'm half joking about it. But like let's be honest. Turbo in the current rule set is already fine as an accessibility tool. Wanting to push the hertz further up is just making it a necessity, not an accessibility tool. And The next logical step is going to be macros. If you only want to worry about movement, then you can trivialize mashing with turbo. You can trivialize tricks with macros, shrine sinks, Bomo Hiskew setup, all kinds of tricks in the game. Maybe even pseudos, right? If you can also trivialize that with macros, then we're gonna come to a board where a turbo controller that supports macros is the best in slot. And if you're gonna play without that, you're just gonna lose, right? And why is a macro good? Macro is also good for your health because you don't have to waste away your health practicing the tricks. Because honestly, practicing some of the tricks like is actually more exhausting than mashing. When I do Atom practice, it feels exhausting. When I used to do water slope skip, it did feel exhausting if I practiced for a while. Even 10 minutes of doing it is pretty exhausting. Always doing like you might not even realize it, but like you do tense up your hands quite a bit doing parts of the trick. I know I do. Like when I press the jump button, I feel like I just tense up a lot more than I should. Maybe it's something that I can work on, right? But yeah, if you want to avoid that hassle, macros, right? If that is the next logical step, then it's not the kind of speed game that I want to be a part of, because I care about player skill and player expression, right? Oh, you can argue player expression. Well, if I want to use turbo, I should be able to, right? Sure. And that goes both ways. If you want player expression for turbo, just go all out for turbo. If you want player expression for your own skill as a gamer, as a player, as a human, then you should have a category for that. So if there is no category like that, I'm not interested in running the game. If it's gonna be for macros, for turbo, it's just gonna feel kind of cheap. I can see the appeal of that, but it's not something that I personally am interested in playing, right? So I'm not interested. That's it. Are you gonna say that I'm wrong? I'm not wrong. It's just what I want for myself as a runner. Am I getting in the way of your health? I sure hope not. If you want to be healthy, if you want to play with your turbo controls, like, you're fine, right? But you do you, I do me. If I have to play like you, I don't want to, right? It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Every single wall jumps are taxing. Wall jumps are taxing. That's why Atom skip is pretty taxing too, because you have to make sure you time that B press correctly every time, every single one of those jumps. And if you fail the melee, you have to do it all over again. And if you want to get consistent, you have to practice it many times until you're consistent. And that is taxing. So yeah, when are we gonna draw the line is what it boils down to. Now it's gonna be turbo, then it's gonna be macros. If you guys say it's not unprecedented, then it's a logical next step. So it's not even that out there, right? So I'm not saying that you can't do that. I'm not saying that you can't use turbo. I'm not saying that you can't use macros. There are many games where using, like many online games like MMOs and stuff, where using macros can be bannable as per the ruling of the developers. But for others, some macros are allowed, and that's totally fine. And it saves time, and yeah, I mean, it's not like a speedrun leaderboard or anything, but there are many different contexts in which turbo, macros, and all sorts of things are used. But for the context of a speed game, I think fairness, like leveling the playfield for the runners that are in the categories, I think it's the most important thing. Anyway, I think I have said my piece, said my share. I'm not gonna participate in the conversation anymore in the Discord. I think that they can do whatever they want, and I can also do whatever I want. If I don't have a category that caters to fairness and player skill, I am not going to participate in the leaderboards anymore. This is not shaped to be like a thread. This is not a thread. This is just, I'm interested in gaming a certain way. If the speed game does not provide that, then I'm not interested. That's it. If it caters to the turbo runners' needs, then great for them. Enjoy your runs. That's totally fine by me. You can have your fun. I don't mind. See, I'll go find some other fun. It's fine. I don't care. That's why I don't do them. I participated once because there has been the there has been the argument that lots of people did not participate in the discussion and all that. So let that not be the issue. But yeah, it really doesn't. I don't see much point in furthering the discussion in there. It was a good run. Yeah, we did get a world record. We get a PB. I'm probably gonna take a break from this game for a long while. This was a great time to get a PB. I wish I actually got the sub 38, but I don't feel like I want to continue to grind this category. It's not. It doesn't even have to do with the rulings or anything. It's just the category is pain to grind. I had 3 opportunities to get sub 38, and they got crushed by RBX. And who knows when I'll even get another pace like that to the end game. No. Yo, GG Oni, GG Pikoriku, thank you again for, wait, you did follow earlier, right? Thank you again for the follow. I'll still be running, but not for the leaderboards if they approve the boost. I have goals and I'm not gonna let them destroy that. Yeah, that's another approach. I mean, I do like the game as a, you know, I have enjoyed playing this as a speed game and competing with similar-minded competitors. But I'm also very tired of the game right now, and I genuinely want to break from the game and play other stuff. I have other games in sight. Early access for Path of Exile 2 starts in like 2 weeks. I'm a pretty big fan of Path of Exile. Path of Exile 2 is looking very good. I'm gonna play the shit out of that. You know, some people actually speedrun Path of Exile. I'm not very good at the game. I've been playing for a long time, but I'm not like that good at the game. But some people do speedrun it. Like it's really cool. It's interesting. Dude, I can't wait. I ready to log the heck in. I haven't bought the pack yet, but I have to. I am so ready, man. I am so hyped. The trailer they showed Thursday was so goddamn hyped, dude. I am so waiting. They're not even gonna have the full content on early access, but like they got so much already. Like just W developers, man. It doesn't sound like they're even considering it, TBH. They did claim they were considering it. That's one of the replies to Sator yesterday or so. So I don't know. Not Pokemon Unite, by the way. I am torn about Pokemon Unite. The thing I like about Pokemon Unite is that the games are 10 minutes, not like half an hour or more like League of Legends, which I have played in the past. I do kind of like the MOBA genre, but the games are too long. I don't know, man. But that's not a problem in Unite. The problem in Unite is that the game is clunky. Inputs are clunky as heck. Sometimes the inputs don't get registered, and like, I don't know, man. The freemium aspect of it is also not very nice. I don't mind spending money on a game that I like, but the MTXs they have are just way too expensive for what they provide. Like, I just can't, man. And that's usually the case for most free games, but still. I would appreciate if the MTXs they sell are, you know, at least worth the price, right? Because on one hand, you can pay $60 for a game that has like over 70 characters, like Smash Brothers Ultimate, but if you were to pay 60 euros on microtransactions in Pokemon Unite, you don't get not even close by far to half that number. Like, I don't know, man. Smash is kind of an outlier game. It's a lot of quality for a, you know, typical AAA price. A lot of quality. And then it's kind of hard to go back to a game that just, you know. And then you have Path of Exile where players just, you know, they just support the game every season and everything. I do have an interest in Pokemon Unite, but I feel like the grind can only go so far if you're playing solo, and the game's so unbalanced. It's hard to take it seriously once you get to a high rank. At least for me, it is. Just the extra songs make up for the price in some cases. Yeah, sometimes you have like a digital. If you got like a digital, what is it? Digital music, what? Digital art, digital whatever, right? That can be pretty good. If you're not grinding PoE2, we gotta play sometime. Sure. I'm definitely gonna play that. I'm thinking of starting Sorceress. Just I just like the caster playstyle, but I guess I eventually have to play everything. My first grind is gonna be a Sorceress Chronomancer. That's just the thing that's stuck. It just sounds badass. It's probably not gonna be. It's probably not gonna be as good as I imagined it to be, but it just sounds badass. I wanna go with that. After that, I don't know. Probably starting Witch, then Source, then Monk. Monk seemed pretty cool. They even kind of took that Bell ability from D4 and remade it into Path of Exile vibe kind of thing. Just like kind of shitting on D4. Oh man. Infernally Switch focusing around SRS. Oh, yeah, they brought it back. I guess they're bringing back most of the skills, right? Raging Spirit's one of them. Infernalis is like, wait, what? So which is like the summoner focused class, right? I didn't pay too much attention on that one, but I know it was the summons class. Summon / curse / chaos damage, yeah. Which is the summoner class, okay, yeah. I don't remember what the ascendances were doing, but yeah. I mean, I still haven't read everything. Like I watched the announcement and all, but I still have to get back and like sit down and read up on the classes and everything. And I'm sure they're gonna release more announcements and stuff as we approach the early access day. Super hyped to play that. I wonder what else they're gonna do. So they were claiming that so they're gonna add back cruel difficulty. Way back they used to have normal difficulty, cruel, and merciless before they made the new acts. So you had to play through acts 1 and 3 basically on repeat 3 times until you finish the campaign. Path of Exile 1 also had that. They are gonna do that in 2 now for early access, but they have most of the acts ready anyway. I mean, that's fine for early access anyway, but I wonder how the campaign is going to play out, because they claim it's going to be like a 50-hour campaign or something. I get bored just thinking of the 10-hour campaign that I usually do for PoE 1 with my mediocre speedrunner skills for PoE. not 10 hours, like 8 hours, which is a lot. Like top level players go from Act 1 to maps in like 4 hours, not even. That's insane. I wish I had that skill level. Maybe I'll go for that in PoE 2. But I wonder how it's gonna go, like how they're gonna do the whole, multi-characters. Are you gonna have to replay the campaign again? I can see why they do it, because you just build your character from the ground up, but like I can't say much given I have. Oh, did you get accepted like in the early beta access or something? Because I remember I also got an email for that, but I didn't get picked. That's really cool, man. I didn't know that card. That's awesome, man. It's for like 6 hours first time, depending. Okay, I mean, I'm sure first time is gonna take a while. Okay, that makes sense. And I'm sure people will optimize the times, right? But I'm sure first time is gonna take longer than first time is surely gonna take longer. But yeah, it's fun. It's like enjoying I like to enjoy my casual playthrough before I go hard anyway. So I'm probably gonna enjoy the casual first playthrough of PoE 2. I mean, until the new acts come in anyway. But yeah. All right, folks. I'm gonna go and get me some dinner. I am tired. I need to get some water. I've been yapping too much. Said my piece about Turbo. Now I can just go and live the rest of my life happily ever after. Thank you guys so much for watching the stream, both Twitchers and YouTubers. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We did get the run. I will highlight the run and upload it later or tomorrow whenever I feel like doing it. And yeah. I don't know when I'll run this when I'll run this game again. Maybe one day if I feel like throwing some time at resets and Emmy Warp, but I am kind of done with this category. Like, not necessarily the game as a whole, but specifically this category, I'm definitely done with it. And yeah, I'm now on the wait train for Metroid Prime 4, PoE 2, so we're waiting. That's it. Bye everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for hanging out. See y'all